We back in live in full effect. Welcome back to another episode of the APFP podcast, episode 84. It is I, the most phenomenal man that has shocked the system once again, aka the coach.
It's your boy going forward. Hope you guys have enjoyed your day and ready for the weekend. Let's begin.
Look, now we all know the top of the hour, the top of the week is the NBA draft. And would you say it was like the best, worst, or in the middle? What would you say about the how the 2020 draft came out?
Well, I think the 2020 draft, it went the way we expected. You know, if you're not the top three guys went where we thought they would go. Some guys dropped, some guys were picked up pretty early, like the guy from Florida State. A lot of people were surprised that he was picked up early, as he was. So that's a little bit interesting. Over top, we went to the Knicks. That was interesting because everybody thought maybe they should go for Tyrese Halliburton, who went to the Kings, which was also interesting. But as they said on the broadcast, I'm not sure about DeAndre Fox if he's going to stay there. But if he does stay there, Tyrese Halliburton would be a good pick, good
replacement.
Good replacement, or maybe a good two guard. They lose Bobby over there. He's gone. So, Tyrese Halliburton is going to be the starter. Buddy Hield's going to probably
before that, they're still looking into that.
Well, from what I heard, that he said he's going to go and try free agency. So, it looks like he was going to leave anyways. He never agreed to be part of the trade. So, it looks like he's not going to go there at all. At this point. But, if you're not a big fan of the draft, nothing crazy happened. Like that. RJ Hampton is actually going to go to the Nuggets. So the Nuggets get another top, player in their draft class. Michael Porter Jr. now. RJ Hampton, another ball handler. I think they're going to try and get those guys started. I think they want Hampton to start with Jamal Murray, with Michael Porter Jr. I think Gary Harris is going to go to the bench.
You know how crazy that lineup's going to be with Jamal Murray, RJ Hampton, Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, and like another big man, bro.
That's going to be a good lineup.
But this is the first time since like the 2000 that any of the blue blood teams haven't got a lottery pick.
Yeah. The blue blood teams this year, from the players they had there, they had nobody like crazy good. What was his name?
Cole Anthony.
Like Cole Anthony was from like North Carolina, but he didn't play enough like that. So he kind of got screwed up. Vernon Carey, he was like one of the big guys at Duke. Duke wasn't great this year, so he went to the Hornets. The Hornets got another guard. I like that we got Nicole Manning. The Warriors got Nicole Manning. He's a good good point guard who can shoot. Want to get younger. We let go of Kai Bowman today. Even though Kai Bowman was really good for us last year, we got Nicole Manning. No reason he have him there at all. Kenyon Martin's son, Martin.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
He's getting traded to the Rockets, so he'll be adding the Rockets team going forward. Cassius Winston was a really good point guard for the Michigan State Spartans. I'm sorry, in college basketball. He's going to the Wizards to back up John Wall, maybe a future point guard for them as well. And for me, those are the big guys.
And Cassius Stanley.
Yeah, Cassius Stanley.
He's going to Indiana.
Indiana, yeah. He's another one of those guys who went to the top 3 schools. And, we'll see. Now, Jaden McDaniels is actually a highly talented player from Washington. He's going to the Timberwolves. Timberwolves got a lot of talent in this draft. A lot of young talent. They're clearly moving to a younger team in general. They're going to go through the growing pains of having a young team, trying to grow them to become better.
But then it's like they're not doing nothing. They don't have no like veteran anything on that team.
Well, maybe that's how they want to build it. Maybe they want not as much veterans and younger talent. But they'll get some veterans, but not too many. You know. But I like what the Warriors did. I like what the Bulls did. They wanted to get a big physical guy. The Cavaliers, Isaac Okoro, he's a good player, but we'll see how he works with their like really ball dominant point guards. Excuse me. Oyeka Onu, he went to the Hawks. He's going to be a good player for them. He can play. He can go with John Collins. He's a defensive. He's a defensive anchor. He can get the lobs.
Well, John
Hopefully,
Collins in Cleveland.
no. John Collins is in Atlanta.
Oh, because I was like, see, because you talk about Cleveland, I was like, oh, John Collins in Cleveland. When did that happen?
No. I was saying Isaac Okoro is. I believe he's a small forward. So, he'll be able to. I don't know how he's going to work with that team's offense because Cleveland's got really ball dominant point guards that don't pass the ball. So, I really don't know how he's going to fit. But they may have drafted him because of the ball dominant point guards. He doesn't need the ball as much. I think Onyeka is going to work great with John Collins, with Trae Young. Lob threat, defensive threat in terms of being able to play defense. And if he can improve his shooting, we'll see. Killian Hayes, good for the Pistons. They just need talent. Some of these picks are just talent picks. You need talent. So that's all I got for the NBA draft.
It's, all the Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, Tyrese Maxey. Yeah.
There's like a whole.
So if we move on to some free agency news, Shams Charania, who's Woj's protege, I would say, in terms of being this big breaking news guy. Gordon Hayward is fully focused and wants to sign a deal with the Pacers. He is going to the Pacers right now. He's going to go team up with Victor Oladipo and Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis. I mean, that team sounds pretty good. That team sounds good. I'm happy. A lot of people now remember now he can be signed and traded. So Turner to Boston for her makes a lot of sense. That's what somebody wrote here in the post. It does make a lot of sense. All I know is if he's a free agent, he has to agree to be signed and traded, people. He may not want to be signed and traded. So I rather hope he just goes there. I think that team is like the third, fourth best team in the conference. Maybe the second best team because Milwaukee, I think this team could challenge Milwaukee, can challenge Miami. I think the Brooklyn Nets, regardless of if they do get James Harden, are the top team for me in that conference.
For that would be a nice team. I think he could find is Bogdanovich still on that team?
No, he voided the signing trade has been voided.
Oh, so he's still on the Pacers.
Yeah.
So I guess that could work still. They can find Hayward can play like the three, and I feel that would be a better position for him because he's a decent player. But the money he's getting paid for, he's on the bench, and I just don't think that makes sense to me. Like if you're gonna pay somebody $30 million to be on the bench, then you might as well just pay them. You might as well just like started him then. I mean, unless they wanted that role, but at the same time, it's like if you're paying that much, you need to be starting. You need to have like a lot of minutes because it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
and being in Indiana, he will have a starting spot and he will have more minutes. Means that he will get more usage out of his skills.
Yeah, I always thought that when people say, "Oh man, he's got a bigger deal coming," I don't know if it's a bigger deal. Maybe he's going to make more money, obviously, but it's not going to be the $34 million for 1 year. But also, I do think he wants longer term, and I think there's a lot of people a lot of cooks in the kitchen. You've got 3 guys who scored 20 points over there, and he was the odd man out. And also with the injuries, there's something to getting out of a place where a lot of bad things have happened. He's had major injuries in Boston. never got to be the player they wanted. They were, they would have been okay with him signing back for 1 year, 34 million, because obviously it's only 1 year. But I do think he wants to try and be more offensively impactful. He's going to have Brogdon. He's going to have Oladipo, two great defensive guards. I mean, that just sounds like a team that could really, ceiling Eastern Conference Finals. Low ceiling is obviously first round exit. That would be pretty disappointing
For who? The Pacers?
for the Pacers with this team if
If
they're
you
able to Turner without the sign and trade. So
imagine with that.
yeah,
So Kelly Oubre is now on the Warriors.
yes, he's going to be signing traded. $17.4 million. He's 24 years old.
He's getting paid that much.
Yeah, he'd be getting paid a $14.4 million out of the 17.4, but he is taking that spot basically.
Damn.
Also, I just wanted to say that Goran Dragic is also going to agree to a 2-year, $37.4 million deal to re-sign with the Miami Heat. Not surprised, but I'm very happy for them getting Goran Dragic back.
I was like, damn, he getting paid. That's good. That is good. They still have their point guard on the team that didn't get a play, that barely got a play in the finals. He tried his hardest, and
Yeah.
now at least he's getting some. At least he's getting rewarded with something.
So I did want to tell you that the Bucks are going to move on from pursuing Bogdan Bogdanovic.
No, so now they just stopped.
Yeah, they just stopped. I mean, they could probably have only gotten him through sign and trade, and I think they're just going to try and move on and see who they can get. He's probably the only guy they could get at this point. I think they're pretty much done, but at least they tried. But it was horrible to not know, or it was horrible for the Kings to not tell the guy, like, look, do you want to be signing traded to the Kings? Like, you're supposed to tell players, and they didn't tell him, and they were just like, okay, let's just sign and trade him. And he's like, nope, I don't want to be signed and traded. And that is not a great look for the Kings, for the Bucks at all.
Because they're supposed to let you supposed. I don't think you could even. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's like what 40 more minutes until you can actually start announcing that shit. Because you can't do that beforehand.
I mean, they've been announcing so many deals. I mean, they announced trades and deals way before the actual free agency or moratorium for people signing, right? Like, what's it called? They had like multiple trades that NBA draft that were already said that were just not consummated that day due to it not being time for it to be officially recorded in the books. So, it is what it is. But we knew most teams are not going to get better through this offseason. Very few teams are going to get better.
Not even close.
Yeah, you're going to get better. Maybe you get a nice key piece like a Rondo or a Goran Dragic, but no big player. The biggest, like Fred VanVleet, Adrian Wojnarowski. I watched ESPN. He did say that he expects Fred VanVleet to go back to the Raptors, though he does think that Serge Ibaka will be leaving to either go to the Lakers or the Brooklyn Nets. There's a post on Twitter where Kevin Durant's brother said Serge is coming to Brooklyn to go talk to the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant has been courting him to come to this team, so he probably goes there. Probably.
I mean, I'll say KD is very good at recruiting people. I'll say that.
Well, he knows the game. You got to recruit players. You got to recruit players to come play with you, man.
So I mean, because if you have Durant, you have Kyrie, you have Harden, and then you possibly could have Serge Ibaka. I mean, bruh, that team is going. If everything goes right, the team is going places. But I just don't see how that works. I just don't see how them three. Not Ibaka, because Ibaka plays his role very well. But you have like Durant. I mean, he needs the ball, but it's not like a Kyrie or Harden who needs the ball more than he needs the ball. But other than that, I mean, if they get through that phase, that's an if. That's a big if. Then I see that team going places in the playoffs. But if they don't, then they're going to struggle, and that will be like not even close to Harden, Westbrook, or Durant, because that was a different situation at the time. But this one, everybody everybody's all better than how they were like 8 years ago. So who knows what could happen if if that goes through.
Yeah. You heard the Toronto Raptors are going to be playing home games in Florida, so they will be stuck in Florida playing home games for probably the rest of this year. I don't know when they'll be able to go back, but they are now called the Tampa Raptors. No, I'm just kidding. People give them little names like you remember when Oklahoma City went to New Orleans? And they're like the
Yeah,
like
New
the
Orleans
New
Thunders.
Orleans Thunder. So yeah, they'll be the Toronto.
I think like what Oklahoma City Hornets or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think they were Oklahoma City Hornets. Yeah, they moved to Oklahoma City, and so for that year they were called Oklahoma City uh, Hornets. Yeah, so I don't think that's gonna happen here. I think they're still gonna be called the Toronto Raptors, but I would laugh if they were called like the Tampa, the Florida Raptors or the
Oh yeah, yeah, they would
Toronto.
call the Oklahoma City Hornets.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm watching. I'm watching the stadium. In their free agent special fair and fleets meeting multiple teams. Yeah, there's a lot of teams out there he can meet with that hopefully got some cap space. But the big news this is Klay Thompson, right? Achilles is gone. He tore it. Basically just playing basketball like everybody else does. Um, Unfortunately, this is a second year gone for him. The revenge tour is put on hold again.
Like I
But
said, it sadly happened to have it had to happen this way, but I told you that is going to be on a halt.
Yeah, well, it was This could be the only way to put on a hold because if this doesn't happen, we're coming in like gangbusters, busting Ollie out. But
Yeah, I don't know.
look, I feel bad for Clay. He worked so hard and to once again go through the arduous, grueling, like 9 to 12 month rehab is going to be killer. Hopefully he's in the right mental space. Um, the Warriors clearly are no more championship contenders. I'm done with that. We're playoff contenders. If Steph Curry doesn't get his hand crushed by a big white guy, we'll be fine this year, just competing for a playoff spot. Um, but
Maybe.
to me, I just think we will. I think we got Oubre, Curry, Wiggins, Draymond, Wiseman, maybe Looney. We obviously have Pascal as the only other good player that I'm sure about. We'll see if Jordan Poole and Nicole Manning can do something for us. But yeah, I think we'll make the playoffs. Or the more likely one, I think we make the playoffs straight up. The more likely one is we do the playing tournament and make it that way. But this is an important year for Steph. Can he do what all the other great single stars did? The Russell Westbrooks or James Harden be the only guy and lead his team to a champion. I'm not a champion, I'm sorry, but lead his team to the playoffs. And I think he can. I think this is a big year for him.
For who?
For Steph to lead his team
Oh,
to the
yeah. I
let's
think
see,
I think um yeah, I think if he stays healthy for most of the season, he could. And if he does if he could go back to his spectacular ways, then he could possibly get a third one. But as usual, LeBron will most of the time be in the conversation, but will not get the damn award because he's got it so many times that people just decide to vote for somebody new because of voters fatigue, which is understandable. But it's like, damn, can we just not disrespect this man all like that?
That's the problem with the MVP is the voters fatigue. I would never get voters fatigue if LeBron James's team is number one and he's got the best overall numbers. He's getting my vote every time. Voters fatigue will never exist for me. It exists for these guys because they just want to see something new. Like I get it, the Steph Curry has a great year, LeBron has a great year, whoever. You're like, I'm just gonna give it to Steph because he's new and we would like to make a new star or whatever. Do I find that right? No. I think if it's kind of this if they have the same year but Curry's team is better win loss record wise, then of course. But if LeBron's team is by far the best win loss record and let's say Jamal Murray has like a 30 points per game season with like 8 assists and 5 rebounds, and his team's like 4 games under him, they're gonna give it to Jamal Murray. They just will. I can see that happening where LeBron has this incredible year. But to digress, I don't think that happened now. If LeBron James has a great year, he's gonna win it. Because Giannis has won his two. Nobody's gonna give Giannis anything anymore. I'm sorry. He's lost.
After that meltdown, they had in the what is it, the second round of the second round?
Yeah, second round. Yeah,
bro, I wouldn't vote for him this upcoming year.
Yeah, I think he's done just because of that. Excuse me. I think he's done. He's done winning MVPs. He's won 2. We've seen him. It doesn't. If he gets better, it's not going to matter. I just know it. It seems the limit is 2 straight, and then you're pretty much like you can't win anymore for at least a couple years.
Well, tell that to Westbrook and Harden. But
I always felt. Yeah, well, Harden, he just gets the short of the stick a lot of the time with people. In terms of getting the MVP because people have better years that year. At least he did win his one. He won it when his team was 65-17 and he was clearly the guy. What else is there in the world of basketball? At this point, that we're close now. Almost a month away, 30 days away from the start of the season. We still don't know the games that will be showcased during that first week. Who's going to play on Christmas Day?
We could talk about the how far should we do the lottery picks for who fit will they fit that team or not? Like the top 15 people, will they fit that team or not?
Will they fit their team? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I think Anthony Edwards will fit the Timberwolves because he's a shooting guard, so he won't need the ball as much. They can give it to him. It allows D'Angelo Russell to dribble the air out of the ball, and for me it's gonna fit. He doesn't need the ball like that. You can give it to him. It's just that can he be I want to see how defensively he works out for them because of how inept on defense D'Angelo Russell is. He's gonna probably get the harder the assignment most nights. And he'll probably start because Malik Beasley, got caught with weapons in his car, so he's probably gone for a while. So he'll probably start.
Who got caught with weapons?
Malik Beasley got caught with possession of weapons. Him, Kevin Porter Jr. There's been a good amount of athletes.
I remember Kevin Porter Jr. I know he got caught with weapons in his car.
Yeah, look, it's not a bad thing to have a weapon. I'm not against you having your weapons, but I mean, you got to know you can't be having your weapons in your car. Now, I would say, do these people not have permits? like a permit to be a gun owner.
I mean, was it a gun?
Yeah, it was a gun. That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean,
I'm
if he,
more,
I mean, it would be fine if he had a permit, he wouldn't get in trouble. But if he didn't, then that's probably why he got in trouble.
or is it just that they had way more guns than necessary? I think
That's,
it's, they usually have like these bevy of guns, and they have marijuana too. Look, and
that's probably the part of the reason.
yeah, look, marijuana should be legal everywhere, so this really stops happening. But look, you know where state you are in. I don't feel bad for him and Malik Beasley, but yeah, I think Malik Beasley. I'm sorry, I think Anthony Edwards is going to fit. He just fits a need, and he was the best player available for them. The other two guys just did not fit in terms of the players they have, especially the two best players.
So I think he's gonna fit right in. And, D'Angelo's gonna play the one. Anthony, he's gonna play the two. And Carl. So that means like, because I'm all about you have your outside game, and you have your inside game. So they already have the outside game set. That inside game is kind of a little void. There's like something that there's like one piece that isn't really there. Cat, he's good, but I mean, he was up there a couple years ago, but then he's just like started like he's going down. I don't know. It probably has something to do with his mom or something. That probably had a reason why he's been on the not a decline, but it's like not he's not like, oh, we're talking about him on a consistent basis type of play type of level. But other than that, I think he's gonna fit well with their system.
Yeah, yeah. So the next guy is James Wiseman, and this is a perfect fit.
He was needed. He was needed bad.
Oh, he's needed because they never had a really great center. I mean, they had Cousins for a year, but he wasn't very good.
Y'all had Andrew Bogut, number one pick.
But well, yeah, clearly he's one of those not great number one picks because he was never a transcendent All NBA All Star, which is what you're trying to get the number
Oh
one
no,
pick.
he was All NBA, not All Star. Ooh.
He was never that. Well, he was never All NBA.
He was All NBA third team.
Interesting.
Yeah, 2010. He was All NBA third team. He averaged 15 points and 10 rebounds.
No, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, I will say this: we expect multiple All NBA first and second teams from a number one pick, which he never gave you. Like good. He gave you the All NBA third year 1 year, but I mean, he's not a bust. He's just a disappointment. It's disappointment for number one pick. We know what great number one picks are, and they are guys who are Hall of Famers, or if they're not Hall of Famers, they're perennial All Stars and bi-yearly All NBAs, which is they're usually All NBA almost every year or every 2 years. He wasn't that. So, but he was good for the Warriors. He could block shots, he could rebound, and he can pass the ball well and catch lobs. Well, James Wiseman is all that and more. He has moves in the post, he can rebound, he can lit lobs. He can shoot threes. He's an athletic big. Him and Draymond are going to work with each other to shore up the inside. Draymond won't have to play these uber big guys, most if at all, because you have Wiseman to do it. Now, my only thing is, does he start? I don't know. I think Marquise Chris earns the starting job, but we'll see throughout the year if that changes.
I would say he's like a Chris Bosh.
Yeah, a lot of people say the Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was a very effective scorer in Toronto. I mean, that guy, his numbers scream top 15, top 10 player.
He double.
Yeah, it was a walking double. He could shoot, he could post, he can fade. This guy's got all that in his game. So I think it works well with Steph, the pick and rolls, the pick and pops. It just, the defensive ability, the upside, the athleticism that they have at the spot now. Two athletic bigs in Chris and Wiseman. I think it's a good fit for the Warriors.
For LaMelo Ball, I mean, there's quite a bit of things he's got to polish on his game as far as like as we were saying before, his shooting. He like we see his shot. It goes in, but then it's like he just throws it up there like a Curry, but Curry actually has an arc while LaMelo Ball just just like throws it up there. And by his, as we see, like he was like what 20 for 80 from 3 point from three. Didn't really
Yeah,
was like what, 20 something 29% from that far.
yeah.
And I think he's got to not shoot all now he's in the league all that that shooting far like I mean you could do it but it's just like don't just come down the court and just like try and be like a Curry and you can just do that. No, this is not like this is like the Charlotte Hornets. You know who runs this team. Like you gotta be smarter with your possessions, and then the shooting just starts it off for me. But other than that, I think like somebody got to go in that point guard position. They got too many. Somebody has to go.
Yeah, they're gonna let go of somebody. I think that won't be a question. They're gonna get rid of
I say
Rozier.
Devontae Graham and trade Terry Rozier. Trade him.
Yeah, I would trade him. Devontae Graham was the far better one of those two. Anyways, he's much cheaper. So Rozier goes. The Hornets are just going to either have to eat some crazy contracts or just waive him, unfortunately, because that's what you got to do. I did want to say some news here. Wes Matthews is going to sign with the Lakers to replace Danny Green, probably because he's a better Danny Green.
A better Danny Green. Damn it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good move. I thought we always thought he was going to go there, but yeah, they had to replace Danny Green. He was just not very good in the playoffs. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. In my opinion, I watched the games.
We watched all those games. My
Yeah, it
God.
wasn't very good for the shots he had. He didn't make them a lot. He hasn't been good for 2 years, so uh, it was a good move for them to let him go to get Dennis Schroeder, and now to get Wes Matthews to replace him is good. Um, so back to Lamelo Ball. For me, will he work there? Yeah. They need the star attraction. They need somebody who can bring people to watch the team and go to the games. And he's gonna have all the chances to succeed. Hopefully, he can get himself a shooting coach over there to help that guy out. I'm rooting for the guy to succeed and work out over there. But he'll be fine. He'll be good, and it's gonna work in my opinion.
So Patrick Williams.
Yes, do not know much about Patrick Williams, but from reading what they say here, he's a prototypical NBA forward with a buddy offensive game that made him a key contributor in Florida State. He's got he averaged like 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block in 22.6 minutes. Now he is a freshman, okay, so he was a one and done. Um, they do say here he possesses excellent defensive skills, which I do like. I always like my players to play defense. The offense can come. Um, that's just me. You know me. I love defense. All the time. If you're a good defender, I'm always going to have you on my team. Um, he doesn't, there's not much to say other than he played a complimentary role for Florida State. He showed more of a lob threat and a floor spacer, but he did show some ability as a pull up jump shooter and slasher. They say here, so I think he's good for the Bulls. He can go with Laurie Marketing, those two guys. If he can improve in these areas, they're telling me, which is he can become basically more of a playmaker because playmakers are able to pull up and shoot and do all that stuff. So if he can continue to improve that, it's going to help the Bulls. They already have Kobe White, who because they just let go of Chris Dunn, did not take the qualifying out for Chris Dunn. He's been a bust for them. Um, I
Right.
always I always
Yeah,
thought that he was
yeah,
going to leave.
he's been non-existent.
Yeah, I always thought he was going to be done there once they got Kobe White. Anyways, I was like, oh, they just drafted another point guard. So clearly they're done with Chris Dunn. Um, but yeah, I think this guy's going to work. Billy Donovan's going to make him work. He's there. I always question why Billy Donovan left the Oklahoma City Thunder to go to the
That's why I want to know that also.
But maybe he just got. Sometimes you just get tired of a place and you just leave. That's also a thing that we know about. People just get tired of a team and they move on and they want to go do something else. So I understand that part. But yeah, this kid's gonna work well, I think.
I think so. But Chicago they drafted like a Laurie Markin, who's like what, power forward or center.
Yeah, power forward slash center. He's gonna play power forward. He's not built to be a center.
I think
Like,
he's on. Yeah, Patrick Williams. He's on the fit in very well with that roster. Because they got Kobe White, they got Patrick Williams. He's gonna fill that small forward. Then they got Laurie Markin, and then they got Wendell Carter Jr. So it's like the Bulls are going young. The Bulls are like going in a young route. And from what I heard, I think like because a big part of what I like about basketball is like on the defensive end because it's all about like okay getting that stop, you get that stop, you feeling good, and then you go on offense, then you go to work and you get that bucket, and then you go back on defense, you do the same repetition stuff over and over again, and it seems like Patrick Williams is likes to play defense, so it's like also me. The first thing is if you play defense and if you got offensive capabilities, if you can do both, then I'll take you. So I think he will be a perfect fit for the Chicago Bulls.
yeah. So let's move on to Isaac Okoro, who I just read his bio, and this guy sounds like the perfect player for the Cavaliers. An a physically imposing wing with a skill set that's emerging. He's a impactful defender. They need a lot of help on defense in that team. Clearly, taxed the rim. He finished through contact. I'm sorry. He's got a high basketball IQ. His coach said he's the best defensive guard he thinks he's ever coached. He can guard 1 through 5. He wants to defend the opponent's best player, and to me, that is something I want on my team. He's only 19 years old. He just turned 19, so he won't be 20. He'll still be 19 for a couple months in the NBA. So we'll see how much he will play. He showed some ability to score to space the floor. I'm sorry, as well as create shots for himself in an efficient manner in small spurts. So that is to be determined. But more importantly, is you're getting yourself a guy who can defend, and Cleveland needs guys who can defend. He doesn't seem like he needs the ball much at this point of his career, so he does work great for them. And I wonder if he's going to start. He does play the small forward position, so we'll see about him and Kevin Porter Jr. But yeah, I mean this Isaac Okoro guy sounds like a stud player, a blue chip player with tremendous upside in terms of defense and upside offensively because he's so young.
So what I'm seeing is that he has like shades of like Gerald Wallace and Justice Winslow, who both of those two are not very good shooters, but he's a superb defender with a perfect skill set for the modern positionless games. But dude does need to improve on his jumper to have more value in offense. So we all know he can play defense well. The only thing is his jump shot on offense That's what really like. Even though he got drafted high, that's the only thing that he needs to fix. And if he fixes that, then because they need help they need help. They do. The Cavaliers need all of the damn help they can get on offense because their offensive capabilities went from top 5 to bottom 25. Like they needed that help, and with this kid on their team, they might start doing a little something, and also help out Colin Sexton over there.
Yeah. So let's go to Onyeka Okongwu. This guy, 16 points, 8 rebounds as a freshman, stepping to a major role in the USC Trojans. They won 22 games a year, so it's as his coach said, it was very hard. Look, he's 245 pounds, 6'9". He's got above average wingspan. Clearly, he's got quickness. He's got a great combination of quickness and leaping ability. They show him here as he can challenge pretty much any shot just based on his athleticism and length. Since he has all those tools, he may become a productive shot blocker. Shot blocker in due time. Again, the Hawks who play no defense, this is a great pick for them. He doesn't need the ball much. He only allows 0.82 points per post-up possession, which is good. Now, we will see how he does against other bigs. I will say this, John Collins and Onyeka Okongwu are undersized bigs, so they gotta be a little bit worrisome of facing like a Joel Embiid.
Okay. I thought John Collins was like 6'10", 6'11".
Man, well, his 6'10", 6'11", he looks like he gets bullied no issue. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're big, look, John Collins does not look like somebody who can handle all that weight pushing.
John Collins is 6'9".
There you go. So he's 6'9". You got 2 6'9" guys. They're the defensive, just for the Hawks and Jordan, the defense is going to be interesting in the post. But Onyeka is going to be their best defender. Him and Cam Reddish. Him and Cam Reddish are going to be good defenders because Cam Reddish has also got he's like about the same size or 6'7" or whatever. And so they're going to have 2 good defenders next year. So we will see, man. We will see. He's an active player. He's got potentially an elite rim protector. His skill level will continue to grow because he's so young. So I'm very interested in who he is and how much better he can get for the Atlanta Hawks, who are trying to push to become a playoff team this year. So he's going to be part of a playoff push, and so they're going to need big minutes from this guy.
I mean, he's a do it all big man. He's a do it all big, just like Bam Adebayo, and surprisingly a young Antonio McDyess. Man,
yeah,
he can handle the ball he can handle the ball. He has a quick first step. He can make the passes, and he does the little things that matter: hustle, screens well, rebounds all over the floor, and makes those nice clutch plays just like Bam Adebayo. So the Hawks, they got someone good. They got someone good, but the minus is like he's obviously undersized, 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan, and he does need to go in the weight room a little bit, get stronger. Because like you said, he going up against a Joel Embiid, he's going to get worked. So. Yeah. So I mean, other than that, I think he will work well with the team. He will still work well, even though he's undersized. Because you're undersized does not mean that you will not work well. In his case, he will work well with that team.
That's true. Now, this guy, Obi Toppin, Naismith Player of the Year. This guy had a Zion-like year. 20.7 rebounds, 2 assists on incredible efficiency numbers as the focal point of an revamped offense in Dayton. This guy was incredible. He's 6'9" with a 6 foot 6'10" and a half wingspan, solid 220. He was really good one-on-one block due to the spacing of Dayton's offense. They really feature him a lot. He's able to find different angles to finish strong with or without the ball, and his ability to step out and make jump shots in a NBA style system is to me very important because the NBA is all about spacing. It's all about being able to take one-on-one, find angles to get the ball in the basket. As we hear from everybody, angles is very important in basketball, especially today because of, basketball is much more about skill rather than just grabbing somebody all the time. All I'm going to say is this guy was what he put together one of the most efficient scoring seasons for high volume shooting in the last 5 years. We will see. Now look, he's going to Tom Thibodeau. I think this guy is. Should become a good defensive player if he works at it. I mean, he's 6'9", people. He should become a good defensive player. Offensively, he's going to get better. He's going to shoot better. He's going to work. I think he's going to work for the Knicks. They just got rid of all their power forwards. Thank God. I mean, they had like 5 of them dudes, and they just let them all go. Unfortunately for the Knicks, nobody's going to come to their team. So I don't know who's going to be the point guard. Well, I guess RJ Barrett will be the point guard next year, but they're going to have to find some people to put on that team. But Obi Toppin, he's going to be a good player for them. He can score. He can score both ways, inside out. He can be a good defender. Can be a rim protector. So we will see. You will see, man.
I mean, for me, I mean, he's obviously going to work well. They have nothing to work, nothing else on that team other than R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle. He does have some shades of, I would say, an Amare Stoudemire, and who can but the thing is, both he can shoot, but he doesn't fall in love with his shot like most bigs, like a Joel Embiid, who we all know, who if he has a chance to shoot the ball, he will shoot that ball from the three. And he has a leaping ability and the quickness to be an effective shot blocker. And he's a decent ball handler who can attack from the perimeter, and he glide in his major threat. He's a major threat in the air. So if he's up in the air, you better watch out because he will put you on a poster. So they got a good one, and hopefully he works well. He works well in New York because I feel bad for anybody who gets drafted that place. I got nobody.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good player for them. What else here? Let me see. Who else? What's the next guy? Denny Avdija. Look, I don't know much about this guy.
Not me either.
Okay. I don't really know, but all I will say is I can't really say if it's a good pick or not. He is a power forward, so they got rid of Admiral Schofield. They do have what's his name? Rui Hachimura. So he probably comes off the bench, I guess. We will see, man. I'm gonna wait for actual basketball before I can say something.
Yeah, because we can't really watch him at all, so we can't really.
Nah, man.
You can't really speak on somebody you don't watch.
Stuff.
And for like Jalen Smith, I don't know who that is. I don't know who he is. I don't know who Jalen Smith is. I've never heard this man's name at all, ever.
So what they say that he's a solid finisher around the rim. He shows potential as a shooter with soft touch. Shows good timing instincts as rim protector. He's very fluid, agile for his size. He averaged 15, 10, and 2.3 block shots. So he was a very efficient scorer. He can get rebounds. I believe he's a power forward, so he's going to come off. Either he starts or come off the bench. He probably comes off the bench.
He's a power forward.
Yeah, he probably comes off the bench. So we will see. He was good at making. He has an ability to make set shots and use his size around the rim. He's a good roll man, catch and finish weapon. He's a good rim runner. He's capable back to basket threat, but probably not something that the Suns will need. Um, so I will say that he's going to be good for them. Chris Paul, pick and roll, especially passing him. If they're gonna have him shooting threes with the spacing, this sounds like a good pick for the Suns with the team they've got. He's a capable defender. So I like the pick because for me he checks all the things I would want out of my power forwards of today. Ability to spot.
And he can help out DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre is the center.
Exactly.
So he's going to be the power forward.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean he checks. Well, I mean they're just going to roll or whatever. DeAndre Ayton has gotten better. I mean I don't know how much he can really impact their team. He's probably not going to get a lot of scoring the way he got them at Maryland. He's most likely going to be a rim runner and a spot up shooter. For me, when I look at the team and who's going to have the ball and score, or if they cut, I think he's a good cutter. He's a digital rim runner. So yeah, he'll probably get his baskets away from having the ball. He just won't have the ball as much as some of his other young players. That's the thing with a lot of these guys who are getting drafted, even high up. They're generally going to some of these teams are going to have stars, established players in their team where they're not going to be asked to do as much, and they're not point guards, so they're not going to have the ball as much either.
Oh, you finished?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I never really heard of this dude. I was like, oh, he got drafted 10th. Oh, I was expecting someone else to be drafted higher, but I feel like the Suns are heading in the right direction. They already got Chris Paul. They got Devin Booker. They got DeAndre Ayton. Now, he looks like he might not get a lot of minutes, but you never know. They might try it out and see if he fits that position well. And if he starts producing well, then they're going to give him more minutes, and he might even start games. But I think he might be on a bench, and then work with a bench unit. And after that, and then they really analyze it like, okay, let's try to start him for a couple games, and if it works, then we're going to keep starting. If it doesn't, then he's going to just go back on the bench. But he's like, I do see some Thomas Bryant in that man. I really do because like Thomas Bryant, he was a very high pick, and he didn't really do produce much. Just like so to me, when I see him, I see some Thomas Bryant in him. But other than that, I think he's gonna be a good fit for that team, and he's like well needed for that position because they lack in a power forward position. Because DeAndre Ayton can play both, but he's more of a center.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. What else? Look at Devin Vassell, small forward. San Antonio picked him up. He's a young guy. He's skinny. So he's only 195 for 6'7". He's gonna have to build his. He's gonna have to get bigger. But that he will get bigger naturally. So he'll be fine. He was he played for the Florida State Seminoles, who actually is becoming a good powerhouse in college basketball the last couple of years. He was able to provide efficient floor spacing. He can finish an open floor. He can use the pick and roll to create his own shot. So he sounds like a good player for the Spurs. They don't really have any great player or big guy like that, except DeMar DeRozan. But I think they need somebody over DeMar DeRozan, and this guy's going to help him. Murray, was it DeJounte Murray? DeMar DeRozan. This guy's going to probably be on the bench because that's Popovich's way. He's going to play. He's going to play 10, 15 minutes. If he shows some real promise during that.
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I mean, well, Kawhi Leonard was a really good player as well, young. But this guy, he looks like he's a good pick for the Spurs. I never question Spurs. Every person they pick usually works out. Them and the Patriots, except the Patriots, the last couple years kind of suck at that. But the Spurs have been very good. I did
You mean the
also,
Pacers?
huh?
You mean the Pacers?
No, the Patriots are not, or were also used to be a good team in terms of
Oh,
picking or getting talent. Also, let's not forget these guys did draft Trey Jones. I think Trey Jones is going to be kind of like what's his face from Devon Carter. That's what he looks like to me. Just Trey Jones in general because I like Trey Jones. He's going to be Devon Carter to me, a good defender who can shoot the three space. So that was their other pick. So I think the Spurs had a good night of picking players.
like Devin Vassell was said to be one of the best defenders in this draft class, with a developing offensive game that can make him more than just a shooter. And I think, I mean, yeah, he shot like 41% from three. Because as you know, Alonzo, he shot 40% from the three in college, but that was a fake. Honestly, that was a fake 40% because when he stepped out 3 feet further, we knew what time was for him in that shot. He shot like what 29-30%. But I do see he got some Chris Middleton in him, and some Robert Covington and Matisse Thybulle, all guys that can defend and all guys that can shoot. So he went to the Spurs. The Spurs picked him up.
Yes,
Yeah, the Spurs. Yeah, okay. So I think that's what they need is like some more shooting, and he can fill that shooting place in the for the Spurs. But then he's out of what you call it. He's got Greg Popovich to work with, so who knows how hard he's gonna be on him.
yeah,
Greg Popovich ain't the easiest to work with, but it ends up working well.
that's true. Now, next guy, Therese Halliburton, Iowa State. I don't need to go read anything about the guy. The guy was an efficient player. He was Monte Morris, basically. Funny enough, Monte Morris, who has a really low turnover rate, also went to Iowa State. This guy, low turnover rate. He could get to the basket. He obviously can move in the open floor on the fast break. He was a good 3-point shooter as well, even though his shot's a little bit weird. This is a good pick for Sacramento because he could play this too. At 6'5". He can play the two, but he probably will be on the bench to at the beginning. But we will see in a couple years. De'Aaron Fox may just leave, whenever his contract is up, which is close by. I think
I
he's
think his contract's gonna be up next year.
yeah, I think it's his last year of his 4-year contract, and so we will see with him. So I think Tyrese Halliburton's a good pick. He's a good player. He does a good job. I think he's a slam dunk for the Kings because no matter what, you'll be good at point guard, and if Fox stays, then Halliburton's just going to be the shooting guard. They have no shooting guard at all. They don't trust Buddy Hield, and Bogdanovich left, so this guy will probably be the guy.
I'd say. I mean, he got it all, man. He's like he's a good spot up shooter. He he can run though. Like I said, he can run. I mean, there's not really much else to say. I mean, you basically said everything that I was gonna say. He could run the floor. He's good in transition. He can shoot. He can also shoot. And something that De'Aaron Fox is lacking in is shooting.
Yeah,
And but other than that, if it's like what you say, if De'Aaron Fox leaves, they have him, and then he's like an upgrade in my eyes. The only thing he doesn't really have is a speed, but other than that, he's a good pickup that can
yeah.
work
Well,
well
he
with
can,
that team.
he can assist the ball well as well.
Yeah, and he's also is a genius playmaker.
Yeah, he plays well, makes well. Next guy, Kira Lewis Jr. I
I
think he
never
was
heard of him. I never heard
Yeah,
of him either.
well, from what they say, basically he's got really good speed, and he's a decent defender. Um, yeah, he's a decent defender for his size of 6'3". He averaged 18 points and 5 assists. He's got good size for a point guard. And when they say good size for a point guard, is that he's 6'3", but his length there is pretty good for a point guard. Because most short point guards don't have big big size. Um, he took a big step being the shot creator. I think he's going to be the offensive punch off the bench for the Horn. For the what's it called? I'm sorry, for the Pelicans. I do think he has an outside chance of being the guy. They may have Lonzo Ball this year, but if they don't see anything from Lonzo Ball that's going to make them be like, okay, he's the guy, then they have this guy at the back. So we will see. He's good. I mean, he's shifty. He's creative. He can with the ball. He can shot create. He can get into the pass lanes on defense, which means he's very aware of on offense. So he's a combo guard with outstanding speed. This guy's going to be good. He improve his. You like to see that improvement. So it's good. I like it. I like the guy. He sounds like a good pick. I said they need to get a point guard. I thought they should think about getting a point guard because Lonzo's just not the answer, in my opinion. He doesn't shoot the ball well.
He's really not. I'm not. I mean, Lonzo. I like Lonzo. I like Lonzo out like off the court, but on the court, I'm just not really a fan. I'm not really a fan of this dude. Like, cause he's like he just does. He's just a guy. He's just a guy that doesn't really like to shoot a lot, and that's my problem. Like, I'm like, if you don't shoot a lot, you're not going to help your team win. You're not a John Stockton who can help your team win by passing the ball when it's needed. He he's like he's this tall, but he doesn't want to use his height to his advantage. And Lewis Jr. He's like what 6'3". Lonzo's like what 6'7". He's 4 inches taller than Kira Lewis Jr. But this guy in college averaged 18 points. Lonzo didn't even average like what 15? He didn't even average 15 again, 15 in college. So I think this is a good pick, and when it comes time, don't be surprised if Lonzo Ball's out of New Orleans, because I was sure as hell boot him out of there. Because I'm just like, I wouldn't have him on the team because he just doesn't shoot. He doesn't score. So I'm like, why are you on my team? Not everybody can be a once in a generation talent like John Stockton who doesn't score much, who scores a decent amount but passes a decent amount. He doesn't even pass a decent amount. He doesn't even have like close to like 9 assists a game. So he wouldn't he wouldn't be on my top tier favorites list. But Kerry Lewis Jr. I think, who has a promising future in New Orleans if they get rid of Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, I think they should probably get rid of him.
They probably should.
His defense is really good, but he's just offensively. I mean, and plus, even though he was great defensively, that team's still a bad defense team. So how much better would it be? So we got Aaron Neesmith. He had his year cut short. This guy is a great shooter. He shot 52% beyond the arc while scoring 23 points per game. So he was a really good shooter. I mean, incredible. I mean, near Curry-like levels in terms of
52% from the
50%, man. As they said here, I believe they said he would have actually. Let me see. Give me a second here to see it. He would have led the country 3 points made per game this season if he qualified for the final leaderboards, as he proved extremely reliable.
How many does he need? Because he had like 115 attempted.
I think they said, how many did he make?
Oh, I mean,
I'm sorry, how many did he make per game? They said he basically, however he made per game was actually the most But whatever the qualification, he obviously didn't make it due to playing like bare, basically no games. I'm sorry, he made 63 pointers. I don't know how in 14 games you do divide 60 by 3, 60 by 14. You,
I got it right here. He made like four. He made four per game. He averaged 4.3 per game.
yeah, so he's a good shooter. He's not gonna need to score a bunch going to the Boston Celtics. Funny enough, he's a small forward, so he would replace Gordon Hayward. Because what was it? They were playing the other three with Hayward there, so he probably gets a start. The other small forwards on the teams are just not very good that I know of. So
Mm.
now, though, the only problem is that he's had injuries. When you're injured in college, you get injured in the pros, so that would scare me a little bit. But apart from that, he's a slam dunk because everybody needs shooting, and he's the best shooter out of the class. And there's never enough shooting that you could have. You always want more.
Mm. And I think like after Gordon Hayward's gone, I think he's a good pickup now. Because it was questionable at the time because at the time Gordon Hayward was didn't really say much on if he was going or not. But now that we know that he's not going to come back there, then that's a good pick in my opinion. That will fit. That will fit, and he could possibly be another draft pick that develops into high and a future high caliber player.
Yeah.
And for the final guy, really my favorite dude in the whole in draft is like Cole Anthony. And as we see, like 2K20 did not do him justice at all because I think like what everybody I think like all those cards can dunk on you or something.
Yeah, all of them can dunk on you.
I was like, I don't know if I don't know if he's like that, but I mean like he's an energetic score first point guard who at worst projects as a microwave scorer off the bench and can best lead an offense. He played off the bench.
He would at this point he would because you have Fournier and you have Fultz. They're going to start Fultz to start the year. I think he overtakes Fultz in my opinion eventually.
Right, he needs to start. I don't. What Fultz needs to go on the bench. Forget what anybody talking about. He needs to go on the bench. He needs to start. Why is Markelle Fultz taking his spot? Come on, man. We know what time it is. We know who's better. We know who's better. He's got his stuff worked together. He can do it all. Markelle Fultz is still trying to get his stuff together, and he was like what number one overall in 2016.
Yeah, I mean he had the whole freaking. Look, Marco Fultz is clearly an injury, unfortunate injury, because the guy was so good in college. I mean, he was such a good scorer. It just made no sense. Like he gets to NBA, he can't do anything. So it was clearly the injury or the blood clot that impacted him as much as anything.
So
But yeah, man, Cole Anthony, yeah, he probably should start
yeah, he's a.
rather
Yeah,
than.
I like his I like his future. I like his future in the league. Hope, hopefully he'll be more. Hopefully he'll be more successful than his damn dad. But hopefully he'll play longer than his dad because I only played 12 seasons.
Well, 12 seasons is a long time though.
Yeah, it's a long time. But I think more like what 15, 16 years would be like a decent amount of time in the league. So like 12 seasons, even though you played 12 seasons in the league, is like you was there for a while, but then it's like something just happened.
Well, I mean, it
I mean,
was.
it's still longer nonetheless, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it took, things happen. Sometimes you're going to have things happen, and you're gonna have years, but man, 12 years is a long time to play that game though. So what else? What other things do we have?
I mean that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's about it. Yeah, nothing. Just to check, I think nothing else big. Well, the next big thing for us to know would be whenever what Gordon Hayward signs for, but he is going to the Pacers. Where does Carmelo Anthony go to? I mean, people say the Knicks. I'm like, damn, you don't want to go back
why
to.
go back there? Did we see what happened when he went there? Not much happened.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, no, he tried that, didn't work. So he's not go back there for what, a starting job. Oh well, wow, well that's how you know your NBA career is over with. If you know you're not trying to go get a ring.
Yep.
But I think that's that. And with that being said, this has been another episode of the APF podcast, episode 84. It is I, the most phenomenal man that shocked the system, aka the coach, signing out.
And it's your boy going forward. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. We enjoy doing it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, look in the description for all the links down below. And have a good night.
And I've been doing some research, and I've seen like some compute a little nice computer. Did some research on it. I was like, this might be be more official. That we could possibly start as we're doing this. You throw a little like gaming on the side. Some you know as we even do some co-op type shit. I'm trying like change it up a bit in the future. So I don't know if you're down for that, but I think that would be like a little different dynamic to bring onto the show.
Yeah, that'll be good. I am down for that. Alrighty.
And with that being said, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. If you're new, you know what to do. And we out this thing. Good.